The character of a man. That is what all this Sakaja issue is about. The character of a man. Now, of course, the really urgent issue here, because it is linked to the upcoming gubernatorial race in Nairobi, is whether the team university degree is genuine or not. And therefore, that is the discussion that Kenyans should be having. Number one, the Nairobi University degree that was not there, character of a man, and the team university degree, how was it obtained? Especially when we refer back to the Nairobi University saga. That's really what the narrative should be about. Instead, UDA and Johnson Sakaja and Kenya Kwanza decide to change the narrative. The narrative now is that the deep state, the government, is trying to frustrate Johnson Sakaja because he is so popular. He will win the Nairobi seat for governor by a landslide. He has got no competition. And therefore the government has decided, since there is no other way of stopping Sakaja, they have to frustrate him with papers. They have to frustrate him with cases. Yeah, I can imagine somebody just tried to think of the most far-fetched charge that could be preferred against Sakaja, and came up with this very far-fetched, almost hilarious links to international organized criminal syndicate. Wa? Hiyo kali. But you see, it's effective. I tried to interview a few people before I came to record this video, a few ordinary Kenyans, and I realized that change of narrative is very effective in politics. Because people are telling me, Sakaja was arrested. It was in the news last night. Somebody even told me Sakaja appeared in court. He was charged. Change of narrative is very effective. You see, people are busy. Yeah. So they take in this news in snippets. Somebody says something somewhere, nobody has time to go and check whether it's factual or not. Yeah. And they build up that story as they're rushing through their day. They build up that story. So at the end of the day, even if they watch the 9 o'clock TV news, they are really robots, zombies. Yeah. They can't take in the new information to correct the old. Because some of these people I was talking about took in the 9 p.m. news last night. And they still told me Sakaja was arrested. What? Nobody arrested Sakaja. That is a fact. Some people are even talking about criminal charges being brought up against Sakaja. For what? For forgery. Forging what? Forging the Nairobi University degree. Now, when did Sakaja do that? All Sakaja did was to make people believe that he had a degree in actuarial science, if I'm not wrong, from the University of Nairobi. Last time I checked, he has never presented that degree anywhere. So how do you charge him with forgery? What did he forge? Although admittedly, sometimes the court of public opinion is much more brutal and insensitive than an actual court of law within the judiciary. I mean, in the last few days, we have seen that court of public opinion giving us all kinds of memes at the expense of Sakaja. It is so cold. The temperature is the degree of Sakaja. And so many others. I mean, the man's character, the man's image, has been ripped to shreds. And therefore, trying to change the narrative so that it looks like Sakaja is the victim is not a bad idea. It is dirty. In my opinion, it is immoral. It is an insult to the voters of Kenya, but that's just my opinion. But unfortunately, no law is being broken. Politicians do this all the time. So change the narrative, drag even the name of President Uhuru Kenyatta into it, and blame him for Sakaja's problems, so that it looks like the government is fighting Sakaja. You know, there's nothing more powerful in an election than something called sympathy votes. Yani huyo mtu amepigwa sana. Maskini. Huyo mtu amelemewa. Wacha nimpatie kura yangu. That is what happens. Because humans are all about emotions. Politics involves humans. And so as a politician, you have to manipulate the emotions of the voters. And this is exactly what is happening here. And I have some very bad news for those who believe in the character of a man and those who believe in a better Kenya. And that is, in case Sakaja is not on the ballot, this will be a big win for UDA and Kenya Kwanza. Because many voters will be convinced that somebody is fighting Sakaja. Maybe this person fighting Sakaja made his degree from the University of Nairobi to vanish into thin air. And then this person followed up. And when Sakaja got his other degree from Team University, these same people fighting Sakaja intervened. Yeah. And they also want to frustrate that one. This could be a very big win for Kenya Kwanza and UDA, so that they look like they're the victims, so that they get millions of sympathy votes. And there's something even sadder, at least in my opinion. There are so many Kenyans out there who are doing a job today, who are holding a position today based on fraud. Yeah, they went out to River Road and got a degree from River Road, which said Moi University, Nairobi University, Punjab University in India, or any other university in the world. And they presented that to an employer, and they got a job based on something forged. Indeed, it has become so rampant in Kenya today. Many Kenyans don't see anything wrong with that. It is normal to many Kenyans. But in politics, maybe it is time we looked again at this requirement of a degree. Because the people who came up with it had very good intentions. We were coming from the draconian KANU government, which had a lot of illiterates, people who had never gone to school even for one day. And these people were bullying very educated people, misusing them, and all that. And meanwhile, the country went to the dogs. I remember the time, because I was a grown up, I was already a journalist. I remember the time people were saying, Kenyans were saying, afadhali serikali ya Kenyatta. Walikuwa na corruption, walikuwa wanakula pesa, lakini hao walikuwa naiba maziwa. Sasa hii serikali imeingia, inaiba maziwa, alafu inachinja hiyo ng'ombe ambaye inatoa maziwa. Na ni kwa sababu hao watu wanatuongoza hawajaenda shule. Mtu ambaye hajaenda shule hawezi kuelewa. Ndio akule kesho. Hiyo corruption yake kesho atafanyaje kama ameua ng'ombe? Amechinja ng'ombe, amekula nyama. Si afadhali akule maziwa awache ng'ombe ndio aendelee kukula? Hao watu hawana akili. Yeah, what people were saying is that during the Kenyatta era, the corruption involved stealing the milk. Yeah, but then now with this new Moi government, the corruption was you steal all the milk and then you slaughter the cow and steal the meat. Yeah, so that tomorrow that organization is no longer there for you to milk. You have completely destroyed it. And it's because people didn't go to school. And so the intentions of bringing about this law were very good. Excellent. However, what has happened? It is not difficult to get a university degree if you have the money. Indeed, if Sakaja had been able to look into the future, he'd have been able to settle this issue very easily and conclusively, so that nobody would give him problems. There are many universities, cash-strapped at the moment, by the way, and if not in Kenya, outside the country, yeah, where you can do a little correspondence course, yeah, in your spare time. Sit for an exam. What is advisable? You choose an area where you're already an expert, where you know a lot. Yeah, and within no time, 9 months, 1 year, you have a degree, yeah, that will pass the scrutiny of the IBC. Or you can even put in a little effort, like former Nairobi Governor Mike Sonko, yeah, and actually graduate with some kind of degree. And until recently, or shall I say until Sakaja, it was possible to go to River Road and get whatever degree you want, yeah, forged, complete with all the attached documents, transcripts, etc., etc. Of course, the only thing you can't forge, yeah, is your graduation photographs, although Photoshop is available. If you get a good Photoshopper and you get a university far away from Kenya, you can pull it off. Well, you could pull it off until recently. What I am saying is that it has not achieved its intended purpose. Have we gotten better leadership quality? No! Has leadership improved in Kenya? Hell no! So what is it for? What is this law for? I wish it was possible to go somewhere and get a university degree for integrity. A university degree for character that could not possibly be forged. That would be extremely useful to Kenyans just now. But as Kenyans have come to learn, yeah, even people with multiple degrees are corrupt. In fact, they are more corrupt than the illiterates we had during the Moi era. The people who have gone to school have done much more damage to the country called Kenya. They come up with these huge infrastructural projects for the sake of eating huge sums of money. At least the illiterates could never dream up of such a scheme. And therefore what they stole from us was limited. In other words, they could steal only so much. But it seems the really sharp guys, the really educated guys, wale wamesoma, what they can steal from us is limitless. That's what Kenyans have learned. And therefore I believe it is time for Kenyans to look at this requirement in our law again and to look at it critically. Until next time, this is Chris Kumekucha.